Bred to Win, brought to you by Inglis Digital, the tried, trusted and reliable market for online sales.
Hello, I'm Caroline CSC. Welcome to another week of Bred to Win. Coming up, the big winners from Caulfield Guineas and Spring Champion Stakes Day. The first foals of one of our recent racetrack stars at 2 and 3, Castelvecchio at Arrowfield Stud. And a full preview of the Inglis Ready to race sale on October 26. Plus the highly respected John North at Bowness Stud in Arrowfield Studs, the horse who made you love racing. First, the latest from the breeding world in the Oz Horse News of the Week.
Animo and Captive on stride for stride. Animo the stronger.
Blue Diamond and ATC Sires produce winner Animo added the Caulfield Guineas to his resume at Caulfield on Saturday. The Dundeel Australia bred colt is by Street Crier's speed-influenced street boss who moved from Victoria to New South Wales for the 2021 season. Animo's dam Animato is looking a picture of health at Darley Woodlands, the Australasian Oaks winner preparing for a Blue Point foal in the coming days. Godolphin also celebrated the win of Paul Eel in the Group 2 Roman Consul Stakes. He's the son of Dawn Approach from the Benaria Legally Bay family of Merchant Navy.
But Profondo going through his gears.
Sydney's 3-year-old Group 1, the Spring Champion Stakes, unearthed another real star in Profondo, a son of Deep Impact who's also from a reduced choice mare. Honesty Prevails won the Group 3 Widden Stakes at 2, while Profondo was a $1.9 million Magic Millions sales topper sold by Arrowfield Stud to Ottavio and Wendy Galetta of Castelvecchio fame. The Toorak Handicap was a quinella for New Zealand breds, with Melbourne Cup winner Shocking siring I'm Thunderstruck, who beat high-class Ocean Park mare Tofane. Fastnet Rock side the quinella in the Group 2 Stan Fox Stakes at Randwick, with Hilal too strong for Coastwatch, while Fastnet's Inglis Premier Sale graduate Sneaky 5 won the Group 3 Thoroughbred Club Stakes in Melbourne.
Mirror Vision going strongly here.
As we're about to feature Castelvecchio's first foals, it was a good weekend for both sides of his family. His half-sister Mirasalo produced Mirror Vision to win the 8th Stakes at Randwick. Mirror Vision featured in our 2018 Vinery Stud Inglis Easter Yearling Sale preview, although she was passed in at the sale with a reserve of $300,000. And Castelvecchio's sire Dundeel had a high-class winner of the listed Hillsmith Stakes in Adelaide in Cerberus from the Fastnet Rock mare Scarlet Moretta. A week after she featured as the horse who made Kringle Stud's Gus Lamont love racing, we learnt of the death of the wonderful race filly and broodmare Nemesis. Having won the 1,000 Guineas Queen of the Turf, T-Rose Furious and Silver Shadow Stakes, the daughter of Encosta de Lago produced now Darley Stallion Impending, as well as Helen Coghlan winner Epidemic and Cameron Handicap winner Forget, pictured here with her mother as a foal. The Inglis Early October online sale is open for bidding now, with the final bidding from midday on Wednesday, October 13. Highlight lots include star-turn gelding Saskatoon, who's a likely Hong Kong prospect, having won his only start at Cranbourne, and Overman, a Hinchinbrook gelding also owned by Alan Bell, who won at Rose Hill in May.
Lombardo goes to the front and stamps away.
Now the winner of 6 from 10, the impressive Lombardo, winner of the listed Village Stakes at Caulfield, is our Inglis Graduate of the Week. By Yarraman Park's I Am Invincible from Encosta de Lago mare Swinging Babe. He featured in our 2018 Inglis Melbourne Premier Yearling Sale preview when sold by Kathy Haynes' Burnewang North to Mick Price and Aquas Farm for $300,000. Lombardo now heads for the Group 1 Manicato Stakes at Moonee Valley. The 2021 Inglis Ready to Race sale is just over a fortnight away, with the numbers of stakes-winning graduates continuing to rise in recent years. It's the perfect place to pick up a potential group winner with plenty of under-saddle experience already under their belt.
I'm selling him for 610,000.
And it's Deep Blast who now takes over. Deep Blast will score almost a length.
I'm selling right. I sell for 550,000.
Sniper Legend has too big a break, and with that turn of foot put the race away quickly.
At 330,000, he goes. Done.
Mr. Mozart holding on. Forgot You dive. Forgot You's put in a lunge. It'll win. Forgot You.
The Ready to Race sale, it's always fantastic as you know it's approaching because you've already had the breeze ups as we've spoken about, but 185 of these 2-year-olds catalogued. There's a lot of work that's gone into this already.
And we're very fortunate. We've got some very good vendors who supported the sale, along with some new vendors joining the sale. So from that perspective, it's very exciting. We've got a deep bunch of stallions being well represented, whether it be proven, up and coming, or first season. So it's a very diverse catalogue and it's very exciting.
And as far as the horses that are in there, I mean, how do you source them? Is it really reliant on the vendors to pick the horses they want or have clients send them to them? Or how much does Inglis really contribute to helping these vendors get the right horses for this sale?
Like anything, it's a case-by-case situation. Certain vendors go ahead and do their own thing and don't necessarily want or need assistance, whereas other vendors, whether it be newer or always want a second opinion, we'll help them out, help them shortlist horses and identify horses which look precocious enough or buy certain stallions which we feel will be very popular to both the domestic and international buying bench. It's a fine art and a fairly risky one as well. A lot can go wrong between buying the horse as a yearling or weanling and sending it through to a ready to race sale. Getting it just to the breeze update in itself is a huge achievement for both the horse and the vendor.
Natoya down the outside, swoops to the front in the Doncaster.
Well, the graduates, I mean, they just continue to grow. I know every week on Bred to Win we're talking about another graduate from the Ready to Race sale, but even just last season, you know, Natoya obviously could have been bought through the sale, Group 1 winner, Alibor, Group 2 winner, Trumbull Stakes winner, Stakes Place Malkovich, and in Hong Kong, obviously, the top sprinter in Wishful Thinker, Singapore Starlight, trained by Michael Clement. I mean, it just continues to grow, doesn't it? The results from this sale.
They do. And we're very fortunate to hang our hat on good quality graduates in a fairly short period of time. And that's not even taking into consideration any graduates from last year's sale. For example, you've got a dual group winner already in Lightsaber, so that's very exciting. And then we've got stakes winning 2-year-old in See You in Spring. You've got stakes place 2-year-old in Outbound. And then you've got a number of Derby or Guineas contenders through the likes of Gunstock, Forget You, Akahata, and then Decor, who looks a very promising filly, having won 2 races already. All those vendors are well represented again in this year's sale. For example, Sean Nolan, who was a vendor for Lightsaber, he's well represented in JCS Thoroughbreds. You've also got Will Forrester, who consigned See You in Spring last year. He's under the WBF Breaking and Pre-Training banner. KBL sold Outbound, and then you've got a Hookier Lodge. They sold a number of good graduates last year, and they're very well represented again.
And obviously the times are indicative of a horse that can move well. I mean, not everyone's out there to try and really gum them so they run, you know, incredible record sort of times, but it is an indication of that ability. And in New South Wales we saw some great performances. Obviously the capitalist from Blake Ryan was the fastest of that morning.
He was very impressive. He did it very easily, and it's obviously very encouraging. The stallion is certainly going places and already proved himself. He was probably followed hot on his heels by a nice Schnitzel colt of Matt Veller's. And then you look at Queensland, for example. Symphony Lodge were well represented there and had a good Super One and a Headwater breeze up well. And then we had 2 first season stallions breeze up exceptionally well down at Seymour in Russian Revolution and Invader. And then in New Zealand, there was a proven stallion in Tavistock breezing very well, and he was only marginally ahead of an up-and-coming stallion in Contributor.
And the vendors, there are some new vendors involved as well. I mean, Liam Howley, Holly Lodge, Sullivan Bloodstock, Moffat Breaking Pre-Training, Turunga Farm, Symphony Lodge. I mean, it's really interesting to see new people coming into this sale.
It is, and it's really important as well. I suppose if you talk about some of those 2 vendors, for example, Symphony Lodge, traditionally they have sold through the Magic Millions sale. However, they've obviously seen the success of our Inglis Ready to Race sale and are keen to be part of that as well. What's encouraging is they've been around and done it for a long time, so they know what they're doing. They've got good graduates off their farm. For example, they sold Group 2 winner Victorum, who's been a stalwart for Jenny Graham. He's been tough, sound, consistent, high class. They've also had a number of good horses in Hong Kong and Singapore, so there's a lot for them to hang their hat on, so that's good. And then we've got a new vendor in Peter Moffat breaking and pre-training. He used to work for Tal Nolan, who's well represented in the sale and has been for a number of years. He's now a breaker out on his own, and he's obviously got a huge amount of experience doing that. And actually in the past, he's broken in a Group 1 winner in Capital Gain. He was a winner of the J.J. Atkins, so he knows what a good horse looks like.
Different strokes, powers to the line, too good.
The beauty of this sale is that you can buy them through the Inglis Ready to Race for less than $100,000.
Yeah, you do not need to come to the sale with a big budget. We've seen Lightsaber was 100,000, Akahata was 100,000, See You in Spring 85, Outbound 47,000. All 4 of those were stakes performers as 2-year-olds. So you don't have to wait long until you get a return on your investment. And then you look further back, both Alibor, who was a Group 2 Sandown Guineas winner, and Group 1 winner Natoya. They both could have been bought for 100,000 or less.
So just recap some of those dates that are coming up. Obviously the sale itself on October 26th at Warwick Farm.
October 26th, and we have the alternate breeze update on October 22. So for any of those horses which don't have a time or video next to, that'll be going up after, so typically on the afternoon of that day. And look, as I mentioned, if you want any further information on the sale or you have any queries, please get in touch with either myself and the Bloodstock team or anyone else at Inglis. And further information can be on inglis.com.au.
And it's a great fun thing too, isn't it? I mean, these sales, when you watch the theatre, it's the same as any other sale. There'll be the live broadcast, of course, as well. And you can really join in and watch, some fantastic theatre as these horses are bought and sold.
They are. You'll be doing a good coverage, I'm sure, Caroline. And you've also got the opportunity to bid online. So if you're not there in person, don't feel you can't be involved.
G1 Goldmine has again offered their analysis of more Inglis Ready to Race lots, starting with lot 22, a filly by Piero from Marseille en Fleur, an outstanding 2020 match as seen by the green and gold in the impact profile. These nicks have already produced Group 1 stars such as Arcadia Queen, Exosphere, Pirata and more. The aptitude profile shows this filly will improve at 3 and beyond, getting up to 2,000 metres as a 3-year-old and performing best around the 1,400 metre mark as an older mare. And lot 176, a filly by Tavistock from Jessopina, has a good rating, highlighted in particular by the cross of Sadler's Wells with the filly's 4th dam, New Zealand Oaks winner Devonte, dam of WA Oaks winner Trapping. The aptitude profile, not surprisingly, shows that while the filly may do well over a mile at 2, her peak performances should be at 2,000 to 2,400 metres as a mare. And thanks to G1 Goldmine, here's an exclusive offer for Bred to Win viewers. You can get their full analysis for every lot in the Inglis Ready to Race sale absolutely free if you go to Twitter and follow G1 Goldmine and direct message the team. Make sure you take advantage of this great offer for the latest up-to-date analysis of every Ready to Race lot. Make sure you get in touch with Inglis and find your favourite lots on the website ahead of the 2021 Inglis Ready to Race sale. Coming up on Bred to Win, the Cambridge Stud Performance of the Week and some magnificent and very cheeky first foals by Arrowfield Stud's Castelvecchio.
Bred to Win, supported by Prized Icon, a Group 1 winner of 2 and Derby winner of over $2 million, standing at Coringle Stud in 2021.
Probabeel and non-conformist. Probabeel just in front.
While there are some who describe Starmare Probabeel's win in the inaugural Group 1 Might and Power Stakes as an upset, as Zaki was relegated to 3rd, those who know Probabeel well were well aware of her ability given the firmer track and her great record as an Epsom-winning 3-time Group 1 heroine already. Bought by Tiakau's David Ellis for $380,000 at the NZB Karaka Yearling sale, the daughter of Savabeel has also won the 2- and 3-year-old Karaka Millions, the Surround and Futurity Stakes, and another 3 group races in Australia.
Carmelas over the top with Riddleby.
It was a day to remember for Brendan and Joe Lindsay and the Cambridge Stud team, as their New Zealand 1000 Guineas winner Carmelas was also successful at Caulfield in the listed Weekend Hustler Stakes. Carmelas was also bought by David Ellis at Karaka. The daughter of Darcy Brahma descends from the great Australian sprinting mare Special. Arrowfield Stud's womb to tomb philosophy has generated generations of Group 1 winners. Now the Arrowfield born and bred Castelvecchio has his own foals growing out in the magnificent surrounds of one of Australia's greatest thoroughbred nurseries. So much passion that surrounded Castelvecchio in his racing career. Ottavio and Wendy Galetta, obviously such a big part of his story, that there must be so much passion and excitement involved in the path towards seeing his first foals arriving.
Absolutely, Caroline. The ride that Castelvecchio took Wendy and Ottavio on was very exciting through his racing career. So having him now on Arrowfield Stud, we want to keep that excitement going for them, and we're obviously heavily invested in the horse now as well. We've really got behind the horse, as we do all of our stallions standing at Arrowfield, and very excited about the new foals that are arriving and hitting the ground.
And of course Castelvecchio was bred and raised at Arrowfield. He carries the Arrowfield brand, and it is the whole of life thing John Massara and the team are so focused on. You know, even recently buying back fillies whose families you've developed, such as Arch Anna, Instant Attraction. Getting those elite families you bred back on the farm, it's really important, isn't it?
It's a very good point, Caroline, you make. John and Paul Massara are conviction breeders with their stock, and they really believe in the horses that they're breeding. The fruition of this is obviously breeding a horse like Castelvecchio that will, at the end of his career, return to stud, and we can carry on that line breeding.
And Castelvecchio charges away now in the Champagne.
And we are talking about developing elite performers. I mean, Castelvecchio himself, a Champagne Stakes winner at 2 and a Rosehill Guineas winner at 3. That is what every breeder is aspiring to breed.
Yes, I mean, the racing in Australia is obviously understandably very biased towards 2-year-old racing, but I think it's becoming now a bit more of a trend that people are focusing on the horses beyond the 2-year-old into the 3-year-old and older careers. So here's a horse that was a very good 2-year-old, but trained on as an older horse and performed at the highest level.
Castelvecchio a half in front of Prince Boaz.
We know, of course, his sire, Dundeel, a champion racehorse himself, and he crosses so well with the Danehill line. Recently, we've seen group winner Entente from the Redoutes line mare. Super Seth, of course, now a sire in his own right, a Caulfield Guineas winner from a Redoutes mare. Victoria Key, a Wakeful winner from a Danehill Dancer mare. So Castelvecchio, he's a similar outcross, isn't he, for all the Danehill line mares out there, particularly at Arrowfield?
Yes, well, of course, you know, we're victims of our own success, and Danehill and the Redoutes line has really put us in a bit of a corner that we're trying to find our way out of. So these outcross stallions like Castelvecchio and Dundeel himself are incredibly important. And you know, we've seen with Dundeel that cross is working very well, as you pointed out, and I can't see a reason why same wouldn't be the case of Castelvecchio.
Well, from what I'm seeing, and you're obviously seeing it at first hand, the Castelvecchio foals are just outstanding types. Well, look, first of all, the Aspen Summit filly. This is from a Fastnet Rock mare, who's a full sister to the 1000 Guineas winner Irish Lights and the dam of a Silver Shadow winner Ome's Sword. You know, what a cracking filly to start with.
Well, we've just spoken about the importance of a depth of pedigree, and this filly certainly has that. So she's a very exciting prospect, not only as a racehorse, but obviously beyond that. She has quite a bit of residual value. Lovely foal. And as we look at the other foals as we go through them, your viewers will start noticing a bit of a pattern emerging. And she's quite typical of the Castelvecchios. She's lovely, strongly topped filly, loose moving, and very easy on the eye.
And the next filly, this is from a mare called Double Ranger, an Exceed and Excel mare who's already produced Scarlet Rain to win the Sweet Embrace Stakes. This is a lovely chestnut foal with a really pretty dishy sort of face and quite a leggy foal, but not sort of overly long, and great muscle in those hindquarters and shoulder.
As they say, Caroline, black cats have black kittens, and she looks like a mother. Mother's a lovely type, and she's a very attractive mare that throws very consistently good foals, and this is another one she's had here by Castelvecchio, so that's something that we took into consideration when we are making the book of mares for him, and we thought she'd be a good mare for him, so it's turned out that way, and we've got this lovely filly.
And the next filly, this is from Miss Billionaire, an all-too-hard mare who's a half-sister to Green Birdie, who won the international sprint in Singapore. So again, a different sort of a pedigree match-up here.
Yes, but the result is very similar. You notice from the other two foals that we've just had a look at that this filly is, very strongly topped and good-bodied. Although they're only foals, they do give you that impression that they'll be precocious, like Castelvecchio was himself. He was a very precocious 2-year-old, and they sort of give me that feeling too when I look at them.
And then the Fast Eva filly, this is from another Fastnet Rock mare. So a young mare, only her second foal. Her dam Graceful Anna won the Vogue Plate and the Silk Stocking, and a bit of a mind of her own, this foal, which is great to see.
Yeah, they've got plenty of character, as all foals do. It's lovely this time of year seeing the foals. They all have very strong personalities. But we found the Castelvecchio foals to be quite straightforward, really. There's no issues with them, but she's certainly got plenty of energy.
And the Minamaya filly, a McPhee mare, another young mare, but what a lovely international page of the BMW Ranvet Australian Cup winner Managar, the famous M family for the Aga Khan.
Yes, it's one of these very important joint venture mares that we have on the farm with His Highness the Aga Khan, and very important to us because obviously we've had a little bit of success with it, with the Autumn Sun. And this is one of the typical Aga Khan families, great depth there, and certainly will get you a racehorse. So this is a very important individual and a lovely type too.
As I started, there is so much passion surrounding Castelvecchio, and I imagine so many of the Arrowfield staff are really attached to these babies already, having been involved in Castelvecchio's journey really from his conception in 2015 and before.
The staff love following the horses here. It's something they really enjoy is raising them and watching them run on the racecourse, as do most of the people that work in this industry. That's something that they really enjoy. But Castelvecchio, he's a lovable character, and everybody followed him throughout the career, and obviously we celebrated his wins together. So to have the foals now, we're very excited about the next generation, as we are with all of our horses that we have at Arrowfield. We're obviously the old flag bearer Snitzel, he's doing his thing this year, kicking goals and back on top of the Premiership. But we've got the new horses coming through. Morris has just won a Group 1 in Japan. First 3-year-old to do that since 2007, so it's an exciting time not only for Castelvecchio but for all of our horses, and it's a great time of year with everything that's going on the studs and on the race courses too, so plenty going on.
Just fabulous first foals for Castelvecchio, and it's always great having that vision for the future, as undoubtedly some of those babies will excel on the track. Coming up on Bred to Win, thanks to Arrowfield Stud, John North from Bowness Stud with a largely unheralded star of the 60s who made him fall in love with racing.
Bred to Win, supported by Hanover Lodge, preparing the elite racehorse. This segment brought to you by Arrowfield Stud, the brand worth its weight in gold.
Well, I suppose the first horse that I ever really made me love racing was a horse that my father trained. He was a stockbroker in Sydney, and At the time, Juno Zoo, whose father was the late Peter Riddle, used to train Shannon, and they were looking for a horse to race in order to retain Shannon's racing colours, and they bought a horse at the William Inglis sales by Double Bore from In Harmony, who was an Oaks winner. They named it Duo, D-U-O, and Duo went on to win 10 races, including the AJC Metropolitan, 2 Newcastle Cups, the Rosehill Cup, the Summer Cup at Randwick, and he ran third to Galilee and Lightfingers in the 1966 Melbourne Cup. That gave me a great lot of pleasure and insight into the racing side of things early in my career in horses, and I just loved the way that he was a battler's horse. He was trained by Ronnie Dixon at Hawkesbury. It taught me that that lesson that the really good horse can come from anywhere, and I think he was a really good horse. Probably unfortunate for him that he ran into probably the best horse that Bart Cummings has trained in Galilee and Lightfingers. It was a great year of stayers. So he was the horse that made me love racing.
And of course at Bowness Stud you've bred some, Group 1 champions such as Trapeze Artist, and you also bred, of course, Young Star, Fun Star. But I guess loving the battler type horse too, you'd love just as much seeing the success of some of the smaller breeders in the southwestern New South Wales region getting great success from your horses too.
Look, I think it's a real testament to this area, the Southwest Slopes area, where it punches well above its weight and it produces week after week many exciting race horses, and I think it was proven again when in the Congo won the Golden Rose for New Haven Park, which is a wonderful nursery just down the road from us, and they've probably produced more Golden Slipper winners than any other stud in the country. It's quite exciting, and I see these D'Argentos being born and I scratch my head and say, who's going to be the next one? And from what I'm seeing at the moment, they're every bit as good as anything that we've produced in the past. I'm quite excited about the future.
Southwestern New South Wales, a wonderful place for breeding thoroughbreds, and we'll hear more from John North next week about D'Argento and his first foals. That's Bred to Win for this week. Make sure you tune in again next week as we hear from elite Australian eventer Jade Finlay about the whole of life approach taken at Hanover Lodge towards preparing a ready-to-race draft, the aforementioned D'Argento foals at Bowness Stud, plus the breeding backstory to the Tab Everest and Caulfield Cup winners. That's all next week on Bred to Win. I'm Caroline Searcy. I look forward to seeing you then.
Bred to Win, brought to you by Inglis Digital, the tried, trusted and reliable market for online sales.